right, so as you know, Peter, my name is Shantae with Poppin Notary.
Yes.
And what we try to do is we're trying to get the community information out.
Yeah.
We're a notary company and all that, but we do unorthodox type of things.
Right.
So that means we're interviewing people that are in the community, talking about their businesses, their organizations,
Yeah.
and what we do. So you have a company called Streetwise.
Yes.
Right.
It's Streetsmart.
Streetsmart. Okay.
Yep.
I apologize.
Yep. Oh, it's all good. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. We kind of what I'm trying to do with this group of young men. It's a mentorship. It's a young black mentorship, and what I'm trying to do is get things that we see on an everyday, like we see the way life moves on an everyday, and I want to take a different perspective, and get their perspective on how things can function better. I want to get young minds to come together and network and brainstorm, because I'm almost 50, so all the great ideas I came up with, that was years ago. And I'm looking to bring together young people and young minds that are innovative and look at the way we see life outside of the house in a different way. So, like, take for instance, people, they have a work release program, and these guys, they go out in the morning and they go basically knock on store doors to see if they can get some sort of gainful employment. And what I want to do is contact these people who have these different businesses and see if they will be like participating businesses with Streetsmart. So when guys do go out to get a job, that I want to know if these businesses are going to do business in our community and give black people a fair chance. And if they say yeah, then what we aim to do is put perhaps like a sticker or something in their window that says these are participating businesses that these young men can go and try to get employment from. I believe that there are good people in the community that will help, and so like what Streetsmart does is kind of search those people out in advance. So when I have my students, the ones who are looking for employment, stuff like that, we know where to contact, where to call, where to tell them to go to put in to get an application, because we've spoken to those people before that to see if they were willing to hire everyone. We're just seeing who is willing to participate with Streetsmart on a like hiring basis and getting young black men employed out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, with this, now, how did it develop? Like, what experiences that you went through? Because we talked about it before.
Sure.
Where you came from when you were younger.
Right.
And things that had happened, and this is what made you want to start your organization.
Sure. What happened was, I had got an inbox from this young lady who has a son, and he's a teen, and so she was kind of her back was against the wall, so to speak, with this young man, because this is her son that she loves, and she's watching TV and she's seeing these black men get killed by the police. Mm-hmm. But so and for her heart told her to try to call someone who was outside of that. Those two dynamics. Either a person either fights their child,
yes,
or they call law enforcement. So she opted out to try to call me. To be perfectly honest, when she told me, I was afraid, because the way she described the young man, she spoke about guns and things of that nature, and so as much as I wanted to help her, I wanted, it was in my heart to be like, oh, I'll come over there and sit that young man down and tell him about himself. Then she was starting to describe what he was doing and stuff, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this is a little bit, this is out of my network, as they say. So I wanted to develop a group where these guys can come in before that type of energy transpires inside the household, where we get the young guys in here and we discuss how we treat our queens in our community, how we treat our mothers, how we treat our sisters, how we treat our daughters. Like, that's super important, that the older guys who already were assholes, so to speak, excuse my language, that we went through that. We talked back. We raised our voice and stuff like that. We got checked. Now these young guys have guns and stuff, you know. And so
Yeah.
when the woman was describing it, she was saying the young man had pistols and stuff. I said, well,
It's hard. It's hard to deal with somebody that has a pistol that don't think about anything else. Like
yeah,
that. So now, speaking of that, like at one time, were you that
yeah,
particular
sure,
kid?
yes. I was out here, so I knew I had to protect myself out here, and so it created a wall between me and my parents, a communication barrier, because they raised me a certain kind of way where I didn't arm myself or anything like that. That was something that was my father. I didn't grow up in a household where there were guns. That was something that we didn't believe in. There were Bibles in my household, not guns. But in all fairness, my parents didn't grow up in 1985. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it got a little bit dangerous around here in Tacoma.
Yeah.
In 85 and 86, when you witness, well, first you hear about killings, and you're in school. I went to school right across the street from this building right here. I went to school at a school called Jason Lee Junior High, and lost a buddy back then. When I was and see that's too early to lose a friend.
Yeah.
I'm only 14 or 15 years old, and I lost a buddy. His name was Frederick Bailey, and they called him F-Lo, and he died really early, and and I was a kid, and I was being kind of like drawn into this understanding that this is the geographical place that I'm from. I am a hilltop. I was drawn into that understanding. It wasn't something that I kind of selected. It was just something that it just became that, And so it was like I felt a need to not only to protect myself, but the friends that I hung out with, And so I went through the same thing. And then my mother, she found a pistol under my back porch when I was a kid. I had tucked it under there, and she found one, and she gave it away. She took it. She took it. She yelled at me, and I was looking for it. She yelled at me for having it, and I told her, and I yelled back, because that's for me. It was she just took all my protection from me,
Yeah.
and so I understand now. I understand where that mother's coming from, because she's trying to have a household. She's trying to raise future doctors and attorneys, but what the young man is going through, she has no clue, because we don't have a clue. That's why I want to get young guys in here that know what's going on. Instead of me trying to have a program and tell the guys what's going on, I want to find out what's going on. I want to bring them in a place where they can talk to me, and I want to try to help them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, man. So going through that part, now when you were that old, like 15, 16, and your mother found that pistol, did you go get another one and then go into the whole shebang? And
No, I went and got my pistol back. I was older than 15. I was around 18.
Okay.
I was a little bit older. When I was 15, 16, I was still in school, and I was still hearing these things about my friends.
Okay.
And but my father was still alive. So my father told me, because we used to get in our van and leave our house from Ferry Street and drive 9 or 10 blocks to 23rd and Cushman on the hilltop. That's where our Kingdom Hall is that we went to. Okay. So as we were going to the Kingdom Hall, I'm just a boy, and I'm seeing all my friends from school, and they all saying, "What's up?" They all stand on the corner. And my dad said, "Hey, if I see you out here, nobody have to kill you. I'll kill you myself if I see you out here on these streets." Because he was a retired military. He had retired for 22 years in the service. Wow. So he was and he was also a ministerial servant within the Jehovah's Witness religion. You understand? So we don't do that. I was taught that that's not what we do. We don't come out here and kill one another. Yeah. But where my life was at that time, it was kind of a situation where you have to protect yourself. You may not want to come out here and kill people or shoot at someone or whatever, but someone might want to come out to kill you today.
So how bad was the hilltop?
It was awful. Okay. Right now it's a beautiful place, and I want it to remain like that. And that's why I'm trying to create this alternative to that. Like I was saying, you were telling me how you come from another place here to Tacoma, Washington, and so I was saying, like, when someone does that, there should be a place where they can go to and have black fellowship with other men that's outside of gangs and all that type of stuff. There should be a place where young black men can go and hang out with other black men, and it's on a positive level. And so that's why I created Streetsmart, because I wanted to have young guys come together, brainstorm, do things in the community, like not just things that are relative to gang life. I want the young black men that are in my class to do things that are relative to life in general. When you drive down the street and you want to pull out, but there's a big bush right there and you can't see, I want the class that I have to be a part of Department of Transportation that cuts that bush, and we look at how we commute and drive throughout the city in a more smarter way. That's what street smart means.
Definitely.
We do things in a smarter way. So it's not just them in a box where they're just these young black kids that are gang members or related to some sort of gang type of atmosphere, because I fear that's what people will believe, that this is some sort of young gang member type thing, and it's not. It's just a program for black men. They have to have something for themselves. Women have things for themselves.
Yeah.
White folks have things for themselves. I was so privileged to be allowed to step on the soil of the Native community. We did a thing called Drums Over Guns, Drums Not Guns, here on Portland Avenue. And we were invited into their city council.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know that one of those things existed here. So it was amazing to see the fellowship that they have with one another, the tight-knit, these people, you thought you were, I felt like they were all related to one another.
Definitely.
And we should have that here.
We definitely. So, what is the next project y'all have that you're working with right now?
Well, I feel like there's like right now, I look at Tacoma as a person who is shot and is down and hasn't died yet, and they're bleeding out though. And so I feel like right now we have to put a Band-Aid on the police and how they behave, and how they treat black men in our community. And that's why I'm having a class this 19th on Juneteenth. I know that interferes with a lot of social things people want to do. That's a beautiful day, and I want people to celebrate. I'm hoping people can come in for 30 minutes. I got an attorney that was that's willing to lend his time and teach the classroom about the Constitution, their constitutional rights, and local law, and what it is, and what the police are allowed and not allowed to do to these young men. Because when we turn on social media, we see these young men being just completely mistreated. I mean, like, everyone who's watching it sees how unfair they're being mistreated. And so, like, I'm trying to build a classroom of young men who will grow up to be on your city council, who will grow up to be your mayor, who will grow up to be your police officer, or whoever, that work in the community of Tacoma, and they're doing it. They're also being a part of what is going on here. So what's going on in our community is there's not a blind eye that's being turned to it. I want to have strong young men who are a part of not just the black community, the Hilltop or the East Side, but I want young men from the East Side. And I spoke to another brother over there on the East Side, and he said he's going to come and collaborate with the Hilltop as well. Okay. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to defuse this bad energy that Hilltop and the East Side has with one another. It's uncalled for, and it's counterproductive. And the older people have to step forward and say that, because we can't let the young kids drive any longer. They're driving right now, and we're in the proverbial backseat of life, with no guidance, right? And no license and no insurance or anything. They're just tearing the damn car up, and everything in their way. So. Ideally, I'd like to get the older men from the Tacoma, from the Hilltop and the East Side to come together, and let's bring these young fellas together and let them know he's not your enemy, and he's not your enemy. That guy who just wants to kill you for no reason, that pulls you over, he's your enemy. Yeah. And you have to recognize that, and you have to understand that when you're dealing with a person who just innately hates you because they were bred to hate you, you have to be able to proceed in a certain type of way when you encounter people like that. You don't speak to that person hoping to garnish some sort of compassion. Yeah. That person does not feel that way for you. And I have to help these young men understand it. That's a waste of your breath. And your energy, what you should be looking forward to do is to be a part of the way Tacoma works, the entire city. You should be a part of that.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're disenfranchised from our city and we're not a part of the process, then nothing will change ever. You know, we'll be the Bible describes as they'll say things that tickle our ears.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true, man. It's and then it's also like it doesn't matter how you act in front of police and things like that. Anything can happen, but it's also how I approach it is that I know I ain't doing nothing illegal or anything like that. So here's everything. It's better to get judged by 12 than carried by 6.
I agree 100%, and that's the thing. And unfortunately, like it's gentlemen who aren't doing anything wrong that are the ones who get killed. You know, and I don't say that to say it's good for anyone to be killed, but when I'm looking at the people, the individuals, and their demeanor, you know, it's guys who truly know that they're being screwed over right now, and they're kind of panicking.
Yeah.
I came up like that. I came up where they jump out on paddy wagons and kidnap us off the corner. They drive around in a wagon like slave catchers looking for us on Thursday nights in a paddy wagon.
Wow.
And we would just all see the wagon. I mean, like, just think about that. It's a capturing vehicle.
Yeah.
Where they slide a door open and they grab you, human beings. You understand?
Yeah.
And take you from off the earth, your feet off the soil, and close the door and ride away with you.
Wow.
Firearms. You know, I've had firearms that have just discharged out of nowhere. You know, that's just how unsafe, like, you just to even put that person, to be that careless with lives, you know, to be that careless with black lives, you know, and just to be like, you know, you're catching something less than human. That's unfair. You understand?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, basically when we turn on social media and we see things like this, we've had to just take it.
Yeah.
You know, and so what Streetsmart wants to do is I want to see, you know, I want to see people more engaged in how the community works. That's why I walk down to city council. I want to hear what's going on. What are you guys talking about? Where's this money going? What's happening with city council and what are they doing? You know, when we see a police officer drive over people, you know, there's a person that police officer has to answer to. Who's that person? And what did that person do to reprimand that person? What happened to the guy who ran over all the people, citizens of Tacoma?
Wow.
Yeah, where is he? See, I'm asking you. You don't know and I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, because nothing. The answer is he's paid whatever, and nothing has happened to him. Just like the 3 guys who killed Manuel Ellis. They're on paid whatever. Yeah. They're still getting paid, whether they're in jail, they're and nothing, you know, finally, you know, they have been brought to charges, you know, and we'll see how that unfolds. But it took an attorney general to do that. Mm-hmm. Our city manager didn't have what it took to reprimand those individuals and do whatever, you know, bring them to justice, whatever they call it. So I want to see young guys be more engaged in what's going on, because, you know, you can talk to a lot of people on the streets and they won't know who the city manager is or who the mayor is or the city council. You know, they don't know who the people are that are making decisions about our lives. And I think it's important to for everybody to know what's going on, what type of laws they have to abide by, and which ones are real and things that they're just making up themselves.
So let me ask you this. What do you think about the Pierce County Sheriff that called the police on the black newspaper delivery driver?
Sure, Ed Troyer is who you're referring to. Yeah. Well, he is a person who deals with racism. You know, he deals with he has racism. That's who he is, and so he's not what you refer to as an overt racist. You know, to my knowledge, but the way his mind worked, he felt that black man owed him an explanation.
Yeah, and we get that a lot. Right?
And the young man was actually at work, and he doesn't owe him any explanation. And I know they have a lot of programs. They say, well, how do we approach the young black guys on the corner that are standing there? I tell them, you don't.
Just stop thinking that they're stealing. You gotta see with your eyes.
Yeah.
If he's making moves like opening doors or picking up, that's different. You know the difference
Yeah.
between somebody stealing and doing something bad than somebody that's not. But I think that.
But you know, even regardless of what that person perhaps may have done that day, you know, because I mean, I think most people do a ton of stuff. I walk through the store eating grapes that don't belong to me. So, right. See, but that's stealing. Even though everyone does it, it's still stealing. You know, you can't just pull a bud out of the weed man's bag. So it's stealing. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you're grabbing grapes in the store, we all do it. But you know, and here's my point. Like, what those black men are doing on the corner is none of anyone's business.
That's true.
Unless you are amongst that crowd. The same way when you see white men gathered on the corner, if you go to Little Italy in New York and you see a group of white men sitting down at tables and drinking cappuccinos, you're not asking them what they're doing outside.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're looking at the mob or the mafia.
That is true. Well, do you think that...
They're stealing too.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah.
But do you think that media and the way that they portray us has a lot to do with people's vision or their stereotypes about?
Absolutely, their perception.
Yeah, their perception.
100%. You know, and I think I don't think there's much we can do about that because that's intentional. That's not an accident. That's on purpose that they portray us like that. You know what I mean? So like there's not a so for me that's whooping a dead horse. Like that whole teach us how to not call you the N-word and that's garbage. That's garbage. I don't have to teach you how to be respectful to me. You should just be respectful to me. Like if you knew who I truly was, you really would be even more respectful to me. You know, so I mean that's all garbage. And in fact they do know who I truly am, and that's why they're so disrespectful. So I want to teach the young men, you know, don't focus on trying to buddy and explain. That's garbage. That's you're burning daylight like that. You have to focus on what it is that you need to do as see when they scattered us about from the beginning and they were taking people and putting them over here that had this last name or was this person or this person's child or this person's mom or this person's wife or this person's husband, when they were scattering us about and stuff, we lost connection of brotherhood and fellowship. But really, you're my brother.
Yeah.
We're related. I can go on Facebook and I can tap request to one of my cousins. My mother had 17 kids. She's from Baltimore, Maryland. And so that was 4 generations ago. I have a 2-year-old grandson. You know, she was the baby of a family of 17. You know, so we're talking about, you know, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of cousins. Yeah. You know, and so my family is everywhere, you know, so but fellowship, when you bring people together, that's where our strength comes from. But when you separate them and you give them team jerseys, here you put this red one on, here you put this blue one on, you're mentally scattering us about. Yeah. Here you put this kufi on, here you put this I don't know, cross around your neck. You're scattering us about. But see, I'm trying to bring together. I'm not. This is non-religion. This is not any of that. I'm trying to just bring together young men who live in this community who are going to be able to be a part of the process and take care of people who are being treated unfairly. Yeah.
And so that's why you have this company.
Yes. Yeah. This is my organization. Yeah. Streetsmart. You know, it's just, you know, these are people that, you know, you'll see in your community. You know, that's what the streets are. The streets aren't the hood. That's not the streets. The streets are your community. The streets are the stores that you walk into and you get treated like garbage. Those are your streets. The streets are the stores that you drive up to and there's garbage in the parking lot because the people that are making money in your community don't give a shit about you. That's your streets. And so I want to look at that in a different way where you do business here, then you keep our neighborhood clean. You hire within our community. You can't do business here. You can't make money here off of the people that live here and then no one works here in this store that lives around here. So when the people come in, they get treated like dirt. That's not okay. I want to see people that live in the community in the stores that I walk into because they will pick up the garbage because they live here. Yeah. But you're doing business here in my neighborhood. Nowhere can you do that in America. Nowhere can you set up a tent or a trailer or a food truck and just do business on somebody's property and not pay them. That's what's happening to us.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Hell, Peter, you know a lot of stuff, man. You know, I think I see you on social media. You know, you're very opinionated about
Sure.
stuff. But you speak some real truth, and dealing, 50 years on Earth, you've been, you've been to that side, and but how does it affect you now?
Yeah. Well, now it's just when I look back at how I believed it and my perception of Tacoma, it was heartbreaking, to be quite honest. I looked at the city as something that I would never be a part of, and I will not be a part of in terms of how the city functions. I looked at the city where, okay, well, you have how Tacoma works, and then here we are over here trying to just stay alive. We're coming to these people and saying, okay, you have set up all these buildings and these businesses that are just for you, but we're coming to these people. The people are getting out of prison and saying, hey, can I work here? Can you give me a chance? And they're not doing that. So that's what I think makes people create their own economy within inside of their own community. Because you have a demand within inside of your own household. The Bible describes a man that doesn't take care of his family is worse than a man without faith. So you really think if the Creator's looking at you in that way, you're worse than a man that has no faith if you don't take care of your family. So I can't leave that up to a white person who owns a business who has a racial problem like Ed Troyer. I can't leave that up to him. I'm not going to go to him and allow him to treat me in a disrespectful way, and because now I can't raise my kids right because daddy is getting degraded or treated in a very indignified way when he goes to work. So now I can't treat my wife right because I can't be nice to her because I'm getting my butt kicked at work by some white man that's a racist that just doesn't like me and he's talking to me crazy. I'm not gonna force myself to live in an environment like that because that's not healthy for me. I raise strong kings and queens. That's what I raise. I don't teach my kids to bow or to nod and grin. That's just not. I'm not into none of that. I want my children to be business owners and to employ other black people and help them and look upright like they're supposed to.
Now, from back then, Hilltop, there used to be a lot of black businesses, especially on, let's say, Martin Luther King, correct? So it was full of black businesses, and then compared to now, it's totally different. Like the black businesses are going there's a handful of them that are on Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
They're getting bought out of buildings, things like that. So what do you think can help that type of community now? Well, first of all, just explain between the from back in, when it was booming with black businesses to now.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I want to get my class to understand the importance of never selling a home. That's property. That's a piece of the rock, as they say. It's important to have that. Your home can be your business if necessary. Never sell your home. People don't sell their homes. Their homes are generational. They pass those down. We sold our home when our parents died. It looked like everybody was squared off against one another with their own attorneys. People that families that don't understand the way Africa does with their families and their community, and the Asian community does, and the Hispanic community. They all pull together. Here in America, we're taught to kind of get the bag and be the big dog. And we want to be but I don't want to be the big dog. I want to be a dog in a big pack. I'm more effective like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be a big dog. I'll go around the corner and someone will tear me apart, tear all my. I want to be a dog in a big pack of dogs. Yep. And so I want to teach them that's effective, as opposed to everybody splintering off and going their own way. Why would you put your economy into another man's household? Yeah. Your economy should. Your dollar, it should go back into your household. When you turn 18, 20, my daughter just graduated, you shouldn't go out and pay some man $1,300 for some condo somewhere, you should be putting your money back into your family, and your family is supposed to. Yeah. So, yeah.
And so, all right. So we're getting to the end here now.
Right.
So didn't you write a book?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I wrote. It's just a little like coffee table book, just for humor and stuff. But it does talk about the relations between black folks and white folks. It's called what's my book called? It's called oh yeah.
Pause for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Pause. Let's give it some break. All right, now go ahead.
Okay. The book is called Urban Etiquette. That's what the book's called. Urban Etiquette and how white people should behave when they're hanging in the hood. That's what it's called. And so I'm talking to my white brothers and sisters out there saying, hey, you know what? When we come to your house and we want to hang out with you, like don't do stuff like, you know, take a spoon and eat out of the soup and then put the spoon back in the pot. As black folks, you know, we don't want to eat no more when we see that. Or, you know, we don't want you in the kitchen holding the doggy. I know you love the doggy, but he can't be around that lovely cornbread you made, ma'am. Like, that's not cool. And so, like, I just kind of wrote it out in a jokeful, laughing way, you know, about, you know, how we do things. You know, we have a different relationship with our animals. They don't really get to come amongst our food and things of that nature.
They're animals.
They're animals. Yeah, outside, right. So yeah, it's kind of just, you know, it's just a tongue-in-cheek book. It's just, I had a buddy of mine I went to high school with. I said, you write the clap back. You write urban etiquette or no, what was it? Suburban etiquette. You know, I told him, you write the clap back. You know, let us know what we're doing. And he made a couple of jokes about, you know, when you return the car, make sure the gas is full. And we laughed. We just laughed it. You know, we laughed. You know, so that's the book. Like I said, it does talk about relationships between black and white folks and how I think how the world has kind of taught us to accept their treatment, and we have to break away from that. You know, they're going to treat you as a second-class citizen as long as they are allowed to, as long as we're behaving like second-class citizens. So we have to break that mindset. You know, we can't be like that. You know, we have to establish our community, our own thing, and you know, and that's okay. You know, I mean, every time black people go to gather, it's something that people think they need to alert the FBI about, and you don't. It's fellowship. You can allow us to become strong as a community. They just celebrated 100 years of the bombing of
Tulsa,
Oklahoma. That was you know, when I was a kid, we used to skate to You Dropped the Bomb. That's those guys. Yeah, I didn't know that. You know, that was what the song was about. It was about Black Wall Street and how black people can come. I wrote a book. That's my next book. It's called Black Wall Street. I wrote a book. It's called Black Wall Street. I wrote a book called Urban Etiquette because, you know, I like to joke and put up funny memes on Facebook. And I like to crack jokes, but in my jokes there is a lot of understanding. If you look at them, you know, and look to see what it is about relations, about, you know, human behaviorship, and you know how humans behave, and with one another. And I wrote a book called Black Wall Street, and that's talking about, you know, some of the same things about, you know, who we are, you know, and how we can establish our own stuff. We don't need to go and ask anybody for anything.
All right, Peter. So how can people reach you, and how they can find your organization?
Well, I'm right there on Facebook. You know, you can reach out through that. I have a website. It's streetsmartwashington.org. Oh, excuse me, streetsmartwa.org. And they tap on that. They see what we're doing within the community, and you know, they can be a part of it. We want everybody to be a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man, Peter, it's been good talking to you, man.
Yeah.
I really got some good information. I'm pretty sure everybody else is going to get some good information.
Cool.
Hey, follow us at poppinnotary.com.
Yes, Poppin Notary.
This is what we're going to start doing, having interviewing people in the community and tell them about Tacoma.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep. Thank you.